Guys, today we're going to be learning about how to ask clarifying questions, make connections while reading, and track while we listen. We're going to track when we are tracking while we're reading. Open your book to a random page. I don't care what page. Just open it up and show me what it means when I say that I need you to track. What does that mean? Show me. Good job. We're putting our finger underneath the word and we are following along as we read, right? Pace, can you show me how we track? We put our finger underneath and we follow along, right? Perfect. All right, close your book. All right. We're also going to be making connections, which means we're going to see how a story that we read relates to us. Okay? All right. And then finally, we're going to talk about clarifying, which means if you're confused about something that we read, you ask a question to make it make sense. Okay? All right. So some of the learning targets, so some of the things I want you to remember, you know how we read our little question before we read? Okay, so we're going to be able to tell how characters are the same. What's a character in a story, Fioni?
It means like this is a character.
Right, so someone in the story. Also, we're going to read fluently to understand what I'm reading. Do we read like a robot or do we read like we're talking?
Read like we're talking.
Like we are talking. Good, okay. So also we're going to practice asking and answering questions. So if Noah asks a question, maybe Luna has the answer. So we're going to practice asking a question, not telling a statement or telling a story. Next, we're going to be able to connect our personal experiences. So maybe you've traveled somewhere before and you're going to be able to look at your story and say, oh, I've done something like that before. Okay. All right. Luna, are you ready? All right, so remember that our story is realistic fiction. Who can tell me what realistic fiction is? Luna, what is realistic fiction?
Fiction is like something could happen in real life.
Yeah, it could happen in real life. So are people always real in realistic fiction stories, or do they seem real?
They seem real.
What about animals?
They're real, but not made up ones.
Right, they're not made up ones. They seem like they could be real, right? Okay. And then what about places? What about places? So think about realistic fiction. What about places? Luna.
Places could be real,
right?
But could just be made up.
That's
like
right.
Like the magic treehouse.
Exactly like the magic treehouse. I love that. And then what about different events, so things that happen? That's, what do you think, Keone?
Like
Could it be real? Does it seem real? So basically realistic fiction, remember, is just something that seems like it could happen. Maybe it didn't really happen, but it could. All right, I want you to open your book and find our table of contents. What is the table of contents in a book, George?
Tells us by what page we need to go to.
That's right. So today we're going to look at a story called Hello, Japan. Put your thumb on the table if you can tell me what page we need to go to. Kinsley, what page do we need to go to?
30.
Good job. How did you know that?
Because I saw it here. It says 30.
Perfect. All right, let's find page 30. Give me a thumb when you are ready to look. Okay, so really quickly, what we're going to do before we read is look throughout our story and kind of find some things that might show us that it is realistic fiction, okay? So we are on page 30. I want you to go to page 32 with one page open. Everybody see that? Okay, so I want you to do a quick picture walk on only these two pages. And I want you to tell me what you notice. But remember, you are thinking about things that are showing realistic
fiction.
Good, Kinsley. We're thinking about what?
Realistic fiction.
Good. So I want you to think of some things that you see on only these two pages that are realistic fiction. All right, Tinsley, do you have an idea?
Coloring.
Coloring. We can color. That's an event that we could do, right? Do you think these children in real life are coloring right?
No.
Probably not. No. All right. Noah. Playing. Absolutely. Case. Painting. Iani. Absolutely. What about this tree? We have real trees, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember, realistic fiction, some things could happen or places or things seem real, but maybe they're not real. Okay, all right. So next, excuse me, we are going to look at our globe. No. We're going to,
do what?
please go sit down. Thank you. So we're going to look at our globe. Remember, a globe is kind of it's a round representation of a map. Okay? So if we're looking at our globe, I want you to think back to our story, family roots. Do you remember that story? Okay, let's go back to our homepage right here. Okay. All right, so what are they learning about in school? Do you remember in our story? What are they learning about?
Different places on the map.
Different places on the map and different places that families are from. On what?
Different places from that are.
Absolutely. Okay, so what did Bella and Nick share with their classes at the end of the story? Please go sit down. Thank you. Luna?
That they're moving to Japanese.
They're moving to Japan. Do you remember what state they lived in? What state did they live in?
Ohio.
Ohio. All right, so we're going to look at our globe. Okay. So right here, remember I showed you, Noah, that this is the United States. Okay, so about, let's see, about over here is Ohio. And they're going to move all the way to Japan. So they're going to move all the way over here. That's a long place. That's a really far away place, right, for them? Okay.
Use an airplane to get there.
Yeah, it looks like it's not on there.
But it's really long.
Right. So, good job, Ronan. Please go sit down. Okay, so we're going to practice making connections. So making connections means that we are going to connect what we are reading to what we have experienced. So have you ever had to move?
No.
Maybe not yet. Okay. So I had to move all the way from Texas all the way to Alabama, which is not as far as Japan, but I did have to move. So if you did have to move, how do you think it might make you feel?
Sick.
Maybe a little sad.
Sick.
So you think you'd be nervous?
Yeah.
Sick.
Can you leave them?
But what are some positive things that could happen if you have to? What are some good things that could happen?
Like it's like one of your friends moved, and then like if they moved to like New York, and then you moved to New York, you can probably see them again.
Yeah, absolutely. What else could happen?
Meet new friends.
You could meet new friends. That would be what I would be most excited
And maybe
about.
try new food.
Yeah, and maybe try new things. So before we read, we're going to go over some words that we need to know before we read, okay? So one of the words is the word Japan. Can you say Japan?
Japan.
Okay, so Japan is, remember, Japan is on our globe. Okay, so Japan,
That's how they write.
hold on. Japan is a place, right? All right, what about Japanese? Say Japanese.
Japanese.
Japanese is the language that is spoken. So we speak English, okay? The words are English, but in Japan, they speak Japanese. Okay, so in Japan, they speak what?
Japanese.
Okay. There's another word in here that I want you to think about, and I want you to go to page. Yeah, go to page 35. 35. Okay. Okay. So the word join. I want you to listen to me read this part, okay? It says you can join choir or learn an instrument. What does join mean? What does join mean?
Like
Nina?
join a club.
Like you can be a part of something.
Join the school.
Yeah, absolutely. So you could be a part of something. All right. The next word is, excuse me, ceremony. It's on the same page. Look at the bottom. It starts with a C. It's very long. Ceremony. It says our older sister Kiko is in a tea ceremony club. Okay, a ceremony is a special event that people can attend to celebrate. Okay, so think about the end of the year when we have our award ceremony. Your parents and your family and friends can come and celebrate how well you've done. All right. So before we get to reading, the last thing I want to look at are quotation marks. Remember, quotation marks, they do this around a sentence, and it shows you what someone is saying. So let's go back to page 31, that first page, but right here. I want you to look, and I want you to put your finger on this page on quotations. Something that someone is saying. Something that someone is saying. Okay. Tinsley, can you read one of those sentences that someone is saying? The one you pointed out in your book?
There are kids outside singing.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Good job. Keone, can you point to another one and read another one that someone said?
Let's go talk to them. Nick smiled when they said hello in Japanese.
Good job, Betty. Okay, so remember, quotations just show you what someone says. Okay, so next, I want you to go to page 33, and then Keone, I need you to sign into your computer real quick so I can show those pictures. All right, so we're going to talk about something new, and you guys get to share this with your friends later. So, okay, I want you to look at page 33. Very good? Okay, so I want you to find this word right here. It says shodo, right here. It's in italicized. Find it on your paper, please. Good job. Okay. So shodo is the form of writing or calligraphy, so nice handwriting that they use in Japan. So I'm using Keone's computer to kind of show you some examples of it. See if you can look at your paper and find where someone is doing shodo. Look on your paper, find that bubble. Do you see it? What are they using?
They're using paint.
They're using paint. They are. And when they do this, you know, when we painted things, we use smaller paintbrushes. Paintbrushes are very big. Okay? All right.
Can you show us one?
We'll watch something later. We sure will. We'll watch something later that can show you how they do it. It's very cool because they use black paint. Sure. Maybe if we can find a guided drawing, maybe we can try to do it. Okay, so after this, we're going to read. Remember, we are
Following along with our
we are tracking and we are following along with our favorite. All right. We are going to pause there. I want you to take a second and I want you to go back to the beginning of the story. I want you to start reading, whisper reading with your head.